What's poppin', players? Welcome back to a 2-Penny Games review, this time of Sifu, new game by Slow Clap. I am your host, Tavin Bothell, here with my good friend and co-host, Connor Elliott. Say hello to the people, Connor.
No.
Connor, we've been playing Sifu, which is sort of like an action beat-em-up game with some heavy Sekiro influences and roguelike elements. I've been playing the game for probably about 12 hours or so.
10 hours for me, I would say.
Yeah. And I'm currently working my way through level 3. I'm almost so close to beating that boss in level 3.
Level 2.
You're in level 2.
Mm-hmm.
Still working your way through there.
I've been grinding for things we'll talk about.
Yeah. Overall, I'm pretty high on this game.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I do have some critiques with it. I don't think it's perfect, and there's a lot of things that just keep holding it back from being a masterpiece in my mind. But overall, like, I'm enjoying the mechanics. I'm enjoying the game feel, the game flow. And just overall, I'm very, very happy with this title. How are you on Sifu so far?
Pretty similar. There's certain aspects that just really grind my gears, so to speak, that hold it back from me saying, wow, this is a game I want to keep coming back to for the next week, and I can't get my hands off of it. I can get my hands. I can take a step back from this game, but despite that, still a
I think I'm probably higher on it than you, because I am
Yeah.
itching to get back.
Yeah.
I feel the itch often.
Sounds
and
right.
It's one of those things where, like, I watch other people play and I go, fuck, I need to play this fucking game right fucking now. Overall, like, and I think the thing that stands out most to me is just the style of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think the way it's animated and the sort of cel shaded art style of it all is super, super impressive, and just the way that the camera cuts and moves and so forth. Like, we'll see some footage here later on where, like, the camera moves into a 2D space, or onto a 2D plane, rather, and does an homage to the movie Oldboy, the famous one-shot fight scene in Oldboy and stuff like that.
We're going down a hallway, punching people.
Yeah, and you're just beating people up. And then, every time you progress to a new level, they step up their art design tenfold. So, like, this is level 1, the squats right here, where it's pretty simple. Lots of browns and greens, and you're running around, you're beating dudes up.
You're in the druggy den.
Yeah,
it looks like a druggy den.
Next level is a club, and that's where they start playing with lighting and sound, and the music in this game is actually pretty good. It's yet to, like, get old in my ears, so I'm enjoying all of that. And then and then in level 3 is a museum level, and they go even further with that, where they really start playing with colors and different environments and stuff to go through and so forth. And I think the style and the presentation of this game is the best part about it, amongst a lot of other really, really good things. But I do have some minor criticism. Overall, again, I really like the game feel. It feels good to punch a dude. It feels good when you beat an opponent. It feels good when you're fighting bosses and stuff.
Yep, it gives you a variety of ways to do that through unlockable skills that allow you to do special moves, or inputting buttons certain ways, like in Devil May Cry, where you do, like, triangle, pause for a second, and then another triangle to do a spinning kick that can hit multiple enemies. So you use those situationally as you go throughout the game.
Absolutely. And it even, like, it almost plays like a fighting game a little bit with some, like, stick input. Granted, minor. It's very like minor, up and down, but, like, it's there.
Something anybody could do.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a fighting game player at all to play that game.
Absolutely.
To play this game.
And I think, see, and my biggest issue with this game is the tutorialization of it. It does not tell you the information you need to know to fully understand its mechanics and systems. It's kind of just like, hey, here are basic fighting mechanics, and then that's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell you how to navigate its menus. It doesn't tell you how the age and death gimmick of the game works, which we'll get into in a second. It doesn't tell you what skills are permanently unlocked, or which ones are only unlocked for your single run, and so forth like that. And it doesn't even tell you like how there are mechanics in the game to where, like, if you do too many finishers, an opponent has a chance to become a higher level, and, like, their health will reset and they'll do more damage and so forth. It doesn't tell you what triggers that. And stuff like that really, like, gets annoying, because you're sitting there and you're like, I don't want to fuck up, I don't want to die, I don't want to lose progress. But without some experimentation, some trial and error on some things that you really should just be explaining to me, it just leads to some frustration where I go, how does this work?
Yeah, I guess to go more in depth into it, the core system of the game is the ability to come back from death, but at the cost of growing older. So you start at the game, the first level, the squats, at level 20. And every single time you die, your death counter goes up to 1. And then you have the chance to revive yourself in a screen that allows you to also unlock skills. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
When you rise, your age goes up to 21, or by however much the death counter is at the moment.
Yeah.
So from that point forward, if you die again, it goes up to 2. If you rise again, your next age is 23, and so on and so forth. It can get very, very high.
Yeah.
And these are the things that dictate what your run is going to be like. Because it gets to a point where,
and there are ways. Again, game doesn't explain this. There are ways to lower that death counter.
There are, yes.
Those like little harder mini bosses. I think I'm about to trigger one here if I remember right in this footage. I don't remember. Let's see. Yes, this guy right here. So he blocked my finisher, and now he's got this yellow aura around him. So he's a little tougher now. But this guy, whether I had beaten him while he's in this yellow aura, or if I had just not used a finisher and beat him up, he would have lowered my death count. So you see now it goes up to 1, and when I beat him, it's going to go down back to 0.
Yeah.
And so forth like that. So, which is a great mechanic. I really do like this aging mechanic. I think it's fun. It adds some tension to the game. When you fuck up, you feel it and you go, fuck, now because I've done this, I'm older. Also, my death counter's up, so if I die again, it's going to be even more dramatic of a punishment, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Which I really thoroughly, really enjoy. And honestly, on that mechanic specifically, I don't have any critiques. I just wish they told me how it fucking worked.
Yeah.
Instead of me having to figure it out. So now I'm at level 2. Fucking Jesus Christ, Tavin. What were you doing in this run?
It was early.
And so forth. And then even if we just back it up just a little bit here. Too much. Where was the screen? All right, hold
on. You go to the upgrade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm about to die here in 2 seconds. So, and then there's a whole bunch of different systems. So like these were okay. I guess I didn't get a fucking
damn
there
right away.
I was just I was focused. I was getting into it.
But
so there are skills that you can unlock that unlocks like different combos and moves and ways to work yourself through the environment. So for example, right here. With the 360 swing focus, you'll see right here it says 500 XP to unlock. And then underneath that, it says permanent unlock 5 times 500 XP. The game does not tell you how any of this works. So the idea is that first unlock, that initial unlock, is only for the run. So if your run resets or if you quit out of your run or whatever, you lose that ability. To keep that ability permanently, you have to unlock it that first time and then also spend the same amount of XP 5 more times after that to permanently unlock it. Now, granted, if you're doing a run and you only get 3, you get your counter down to 3 instead of 5. The 3 does stay, but again, the game doesn't explain that, so you don't know if you should be dumping your resources because XP is kind of like one of 3 almost currencies in this game, along with age and level score, which we'll get into in a second. But if you skip, you might feel like you might want to skip out on this because you don't know where that's going to lead you, and this is all early game stuff. You're like, I don't know if I'm wasting my time investing in some of this, and I did waste some time going into this. And through a conversation we had before, it sounds like you wasted a lot of time.
Yeah, at a certain point, I didn't know if I got to if once I completed a mission, I didn't know if I was going to be able to be at an age to unlock certain abilities. So I got to a point where I was grinding solely for the fact to get skills, not because I wanted to, but because I felt like if I didn't do that, I'd be screwed later down the line.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't know that you could restart your entire run from the ground up with all those skills available to you. I thought if you started over, you're from square one. So I was really worried that
you're talking the main ability tree.
The main ability tree, yes.
Yeah.
I was afraid that I was going to get real screwed solely because the game didn't tell me my options.
Yeah, and here's another example of this. So this right here that I have pulled up is from like totems that you find throughout the world, and you go in and you pick one of these upgrades from these totems. Now these upgrades are tied to your run, so if you reset your run, you do lose these. Again, the game explains none of this, which is a problem. So right here, it's in 3 main categories with those 3 kind of currencies that I was talking about. Your age being one. So you'll see like this first one, 25, that's weapon durability, so that your weapons last longer, you can do more hits and stuff with them. Once you exceed past the age of 25, that upgrade tree is grayed out and you can no longer get upgrades from it. Score is based on your level score, how you're doing in that one individual level. When you move on from level 1 to level 2, your score resets. And it's basically just like, how many guys are you defeating in a row with, and there's like multipliers and stuff to get your score level up higher. Again, none of it's fucking explained. And all of that is for like kind of structure-based things. You dodge, you parry. You'll decrease the amount of structure damage. Structure is like your stamina gauge. What do they call it in Sekiro? It's that same thing where like you break somebody's guard, basically. Like the meter builds up and then they break and you can do a finisher on them. You have that same meter, and you can really lose a lot of health and a lot of damage if you don't pay attention to it.
Yeah.
And then over here, XP. These are again XP upgrades, which use the same type of XP for your permanent upgrades. So for a long time, I wasn't sure whether I should be jumping into this or if I should just be purely saving just for the upgrade tree. I'm gonna go ahead and save you all some time. Yeah, just focus on the upgrade tree.
Yeah, because once you get that done, it's like, okay, now I can start focusing
now you
on
can
this
start
stuff.
getting some longer things and longer runs going out, and you can start planning out your routes a little better once you no longer have that weight around your neck of unlocking abilities and things that you need to honestly beat the game.
Yeah, I'm on the second mission, and I spent a lot of time just grinding for those skills.
Yeah,
as I said
did
earlier.
for a long time.
Yeah, and I'm pretty much almost done with getting all the stuff that I want, and there's only a few more things that I would kind of need.
I've unlocked everything.
Yeah, you've unlocked everything.
And so. I haven't seen the end of the game. I'm still only in level 3, but maybe that just tells you how bad I am at the game. But so yeah, and then you get one pick of this, and then you don't get another one until another totem. There's usually about 3 totems per level, from my experience. I don't know if that changes later down the line or what, but usually there's 3. And that aside, I do think these systems work well. It's just a matter of figuring out how they all work and how they all work together. And then this game has so many confusing terms because, like, to get into the main combat and gameplay conversation, there's a lot of setup that needs to happen. So, you're doing your attacks, your combos, whatever. When an enemy attacks you, you can do one of 3 things. You can parry or avoid, which those are the 2 things that you'll mostly be focused on, or you can do a dodge. The dodge is just kind of like just a jump away. I use it more to just cover distance than actually dodging attacks, because using the avoid, which are quick little like quick ducks and stuff, like just to like you'll duck and the fist will go over your head or something like that, is to kind of use to decrease your own structure gauge thing, and then parries build up their structure gauge, etc., etc. You see how it works.
Yeah.
All of that I think feels really, really good. And again, it feels good when you're landing these combos and you're going down these streaks, these long combo runs, and you're really just whooping dudes' asses and you're dodging all the moves perfectly. All that feels great. When it doesn't feel great is, personally with me, specifically with the parry system, I don't think is super fine-tuned. It's like almost there, but it's not quite there. Whereas like a game like Sekiro, where this game clearly takes a lot of inspiration from, in my mind at least, that parry window was super fucking tight, like crazy tight, but it always felt correct. There were times where I parry and I go, did I parry there? I don't know if I parried there. Like that
barely gives you an indication that you even successfully do it.
Yeah, like it's a very, very subtle indicator.
Yeah, it's not useless. Parry isn't useless. It's not
because that's my first 6 hours. I was like, why would I ever parry? I can just avoid, and that keeps me safe. And then the window for me to counterattack is so large that it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, that becomes less true the further you come on. In fact, the reason I'm struggling so much with the third boss is because I spent all that time only avoiding and not building up my parry skill. So now I'm struggling parrying this third boss who kind of requires it.
Yeah.
But all that said, like, I'm still enjoying it, and I'm still like having a lot of fun while playing it, but it's just the itch of like, fuck, I didn't nail that, but I didn't nail it, and I don't know if it's my fault or the game's fault or whatever. On top of that, the camera is atrocious in this game.
Yeah, that's my main frustrating aspect of this game. The most frustrating aspect of this game has been when some fights naturally progress to the corner or to a wall. Specifically, mini bosses.
You'll get pushed into a wall. You'll get pushed into a corner. Something will happen,
and that's when it really starts hurting you because it gets at an angle where you can't really see yourself or the enemy sometimes, maybe even both, and you're just getting beat on because you need that timing down.
Yeah.
And when you can't even take advantage of that, especially if there's multiple opponents, you're gonna get
destroyed
basically
very fast.
Yeah.
And it all leads to just like it's all these like tiny little minor things that like really aren't that hampering, but it's all of them together. And when they ruin a run that you were doing pretty well on, and these runs can take upwards of an hour, or even more, it gets a little frustrating. Now, granted, you were talking, you didn't know you could reset your run when you beat a level. Whatever age you're at when you beat that level, like the game saves that progress. Whatever the best age that you had a run on. So like the first level, if you beat at age 24 and then you go to the club, you can skip the first level and go straight to the club, and you'll start at age 24 with whatever upgrades you had in the first level. Again, none of that was said. Yeah. So I spent a long time thinking, oh, I go to that level at that age, but I don't have those perks that I got from the totems. That's not true. Your perks are still there.
Yeah. But you don't know that.
But you don't know that.
Yeah. Thankfully, my original fear was that it was alleviated when I found out that if I start over again, I'm still going to have my skills that I unlocked all the way up until this point.
The permanent ones.
And the permanent ones. And all I pretty much have to do is just do better than I did last time. And it's going to show itself exponentially, because then I can go into the club at a lower level, a lower age range, so that mission can subsequently be easier. It works oppositely as well, but the ability to just go back when you want really saves the game from being super, super repetitive of going through the motions over and over.
But it's also like, I do think the mechanics are solid enough to where like you're training. Level 1 is training for me now. Before, you like early in my experience, it was hard, and I was like, man, these fights are tough. I haven't even gotten to the boss, and then I did get to the boss, and he whooped my ass, and I was like, oh, this is a tough game. But now, I mean, I've run through the squats a few times without dying, and now it's training for me. It's to make sure my parry game is up, make sure my avoids are up, make sure I've got my button combos, and I'm mentally prepared for the action that is required to progress through the further levels and so forth. Which is great, because like you are running through the same. It's not an actual roguelike where things are randomized. You don't know what room you're gonna like. It's the same every time you go through it, which is nice because you start really learning those levels. And even within those levels, there are skips to where you can get. There are level skips to where you can progress a little faster and progress a little further with less time. For example, like this first level has one giant skip where you only get access to 2 totems instead of the full 3. So there's a little bit of a risk reward where you're missing out on a perk there.
But you miss fights, entire fights.
Yeah, but you miss fights. So like the chance of your age being low is significantly higher. There's not too many skips in the second level, but in the third, there's a bunch of skips where like you're skipping individual fights. But you can, if you plan your route accordingly, you can still get all 3 totems and so forth, which is fucking great. I love that, because that's a level of level design that like you can really like wrap your mind around and like start kind of peeling back the layers of it all and how it all works.
Yep.
Which again is part of the fun for me is kind of putting together the puzzle and building up this muscle memory and putting myself through this training to get better and better and better and better. Every time I go back to the first level, and even now the second level isn't nearly as hard as it used to be for me. You do get kind of that high of, because you probably just got your ass beat in level 3 or level 4 or whatever. So now you're running it all the way back to train yourself back up, and it's just kind of fun to run through these early levels and just be fucking spanking motherfuckers, because you now have the ability to, and it feels like you're learning to fight. And while you're fighting, it does feel like actual fighting, with the way like you duck and you move and you parry and you dodge at just the right moments. And it really like, it's just, I think it's a real blast. It's just a shame that there are those minor gripes that I have that like hold it back from the like full greatness that I see the potential in this game. Connor, any final thoughts and opinions here about this here Sifu?
Not really. I mean, I'm a little bit iffy on whether I'll keep playing it, because eventually Horizon's coming out.
Yep,
and then the week after that, Elden Ring's coming out.
Yeah.
And I still want to get back to my Final Fantasy VII Remake playthrough. There's a lot of games that need to be playing.
Yeah.
2 of them are going to be played soon. And this is obviously going to be more of a time sink game than I originally thought. It goes on longer than you think it does.
Oh, yeah.
You spend time grinding. You spend time learning. You go through missions over and over and over again, which admittedly, I guess, can get kind of repetitive at times. I'll be like, okay, I got to go through the same mission that looks the same way and fight the same enemies. and
but
go.
the way they structure it, where you can, hey man, like I've got a good run through the squats. Fuck it, I'm just gonna skip the squats, go straight to the club.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why not? It kind of kills some of that repetition for me, and then by the time you put in a run of that, and then you're like, you know what, I haven't played the squats in about an hour, so I'm good to play the squats again. So let's go back to the squats. Honestly, I find really only this first boss fight is the only thing I find repetitive, just because I know it so well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he becomes very easy on subsequent playthroughs.
Oh yeah, as you keep going through. But yeah, I fully enjoy this game. Again, I think the style and the presentation and the music are the best parts of this game. But that's not to say that the combat or the actual gameplay itself is something to slouch at. It's really good too. It's just not perfect. Yeah. And in a game that requires perfection from its players, its mechanics also need to be perfected. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like there's a level of consistency that is like there like 85% of the time. Mm-hmm. But it's that 15 to 20 that it's not, where I go, okay, so what's the point of me learning? And you not being perfect actually is a hindrance to me learning, because then I don't know if it's me or if it's you. Yeah. It
creates a weird situation.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, definitely enjoy it. Absolutely worth your $40 with the amount of time and the time sink that you get into it, and the level of quality of game you are getting. You are getting a really good game out of this. It may sound negative at points, but it's really fucking good.
It'd be justified to be full priced.
Oh, yeah, the full $60, $70. Yeah, I'd do that in a heartbeat. And a guy like me who loves replayability in video games, this one is infinitely replayable, because it's pinning you against yourself. Yeah. It's not like Deathloop, where there's not a lot of skill. It's really just putting the puzzle together, and then the puzzle has one solution. Like it's okay, I can do this. Let me try and do it a little better. Mm-hmm. Let me get through the club without dying.
Let me get a lower age by the end of all this. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me get to the end of the game. There's a trophy that I really want to get one day, but I need to actually have the time to be able to do it. And who knows if I will. There's a trophy for beating the entire game under the age of level 25, or under the age of 25. I don't know. As of right now, I haven't even gotten past the second level, sub 30. But I know it's possible. Yeah. I know it's possible. It's just a matter of getting there and getting those skills and building that talent. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for your 2 Penny Games review of Sifu. Thank you so much for watching and listening. If you were listening to the podcast, which comes out every Monday, 8 a.m. Central Time, over at youtube.com/2pennygamescast, or mainstream podcast services of your choice, thank you for listening. You can also catch us live, twitch.tv/2pennygames, every Tuesday, 2 p.m. Central Time, or whenever I have time to stream myself, where we're playing games. I've been playing a lot of Sifu on stream. You can catch all those VODs right now of sort of my you can see in real time my progression and my talent building. I have a callus on my hand. Anyways, until then, make sure you subscribe, like, follow, all that fun stuff, and we will catch you next time over here at the youtube.com/2pennygamescast. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and until next time, have a great time. And Connor, say goodbye to the people.
See ya.